Yay! Hi, everybody. This is going to be a big one today. It's going to be a big one. A few months back, thank you. This is Joanna, the Early Morning Ascension Show. Thank you for tuning in. I've just been channeling like crazy here. I've got like 4 or 5 pages written down, so it's going to be a big one. You might want to get out your notebooks for those that so desire. So happy that you're with us today. And many of you can feel these huge potentials that are kind of on the underbelly, the rumblings of the underbelly of our collective. We say underbelly because just like many, I remember when I lived in New Zealand, every time there would be an earthquake, the animals in the fields and the paddocks, they would begin to kind of act strangely and awkwardly, and they would begin to feel these inner tremblings of things that will be changing and uplifting, if you will, for us to sort out and suss out and clear out and so on and rewrite. And so many of us have been feeling these things at the collective level, especially those of us that are, empaths and visionaries. We're here to help prepare and break way, kind of break the mold of all of our old systems of tradition, if you will, dogmatic, stifling of placing people and experiences into roles and patterns that stifle the potentiation of all involved. And that's just one segment of our social experience. So today we're going to bring forward some really expansive concepts that each and every one of you can use within the rewrite of how each and every inner, outer, micro, macro, individual, social, collective community is going to be moving through these various transitions in all ways, whether it's your personal life that you're moving through. As you're moving through your daily ascension, you're finding these little tower moments happen and how to realign to the highest and to the best, and how to kind of sort out the pieces and how to include others in the experience of the unity and the experience of the growth process, and also how it will ripple out to the collective. So just know that the things that we're seeing on our collective are the clearing away of the many eons of subjugation that our collective has been moving within. So just know that it's a natural process, and we can hold and do the greatest good, even if you don't know what to do at a collective level. That's well and fine too, because we're going through such dramatic collective change on such a grand scale in every arena of our collective. So many. I think our next one, we're going to focus on the rewriting of the health experience. And because it's a whole, it's a multi-billion-dollar experience that can be really rewritten in very simplified terms and manners that can assist the greater public in a much easier and far grander, expansive way to reach the masses, if you will. And so there's so much that's going on there that can really reshape and rework, our whole human potential. And it's really exciting that we all get to be involved in being a part of it. And so really get excited. There's so much that's happening now that we can all put our hands in and really get our hands dirty and really get our hands in the work of the garden and tending to that garden and nurturing and cultivating the garden, because it's our earth that we're preparing all future generations for, and you absolutely know that you'll be back. You'll want to be a part of this new earth that you're birthing right now. We're birthing this new earth experience. And a lot of it, begins with our micro macro experience, who we are as individuals, awakening to who we are as spirit, returning all of our consciousness, choice, and decisions, our sovereignty of who we are as spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical multidimensional beings. Not only are we living in this unified experience of who we are in this body, but we also are harmonizing 51% of our karma. Those are those soul fragments, those personality aspects, those psyche wounds that come up in that every moment spiraling of our ascension, so that we can call those aspects in and we can look at the shadow aspects of who we are, why we've created those shadow aspects, beliefs, and perspectives. And many of it is because of our social, lineage, akashic, and familial belief systems and perspectives that we've held about who we are as value, who we are as the belonging of our oneness as spirit and source, birthing all the gifts and birthing all the creative magnitude that we each have through and as spirit for the greater collective plan, because it's always linked, you're always connected, you're always a part of a grander story. And we're allowing all of that experiential outer placement of our value and our worthiness, and we're bringing it all back in. And in doing so, that directly connects with the alignment of who we are with spirit, the sacred Trinity, so that we then begin to activate, as we've been talking about for the past little while, of our DNA. And our DNA is activated regardless of what experiential moment, because everything is a spiral of now. So whether you're experiencing this earth and the many earths that you belong to in any one moment, because you're constantly shifting based on your level of consciousness and your awareness, and clearing out those energies. You can experience a 3D earth and various levels and threads of that bandwidth of 3D. And when you're going through those great awakenings and you feel really light and you're feeling expansive and you're choosing to create those new belief patterns for yourself and behave in vibrational ways that is in alignment with unity and alignment with oneness, you then begin experiencing your 4 or 5D experience. But all of these experiential earths are all on the spiral of now and all have divine timed on the alignment of your DNA. And of course your DNA, and it's always divinely timed, and it goes far greater than this, and we'll talk about this in a whole other show just for this one topic because it's expansive and it's deep and it's threaded in many ways. Your DNA has activations from many of the worlds that you come from, and even ones that we don't know of, that we don't have names for, on a galactic, planetarial, universal, multiverse perspective. Orion, Pleiades, Cassiopean, all of your DNA threadings of the codons and the experiential memory, if you will, the blessings and the gifts that spirit codes with you as you code with spirit, the story of you, the details of you, the color of you, the character of you, the gifts and the skills and the talents of you, so they're saying symptomatic expansiveness of you. So that means that as you're becoming more harmonized into the all of you, that creates this is just how I'm explaining it, and they're probably not the words that we have because we just don't have words for what they're showing me. When we harmonize into a new vibration of who we are in our allness, we're harmonizing as the omnipresent, we're harmonizing as the all that we are. We may have activated, say, a 7th strand of that crystalline energy from Arcturus, if we say Arcturus, if you will, just to give an example. That symptomatic expression was the catalyst that then downloads or then becomes more fluid into those gifts of that expression of your Arcturus timeline. We say timeline, but it includes many Arcturus timelines, because if you're a 7th dimensional Arcturan, you can have infinite years of being Arcturus. See what I'm saying? So it's not just one timeline as we understand human form to be on the timelines of Earth, if you will. They're different in all realms. Arcturus experiences a lifetime timeline, if you will, that is far different because there is no time. So we're just giving it to you as an expression of symptomatic expressionhood, because that expressionhood can be a culmination of many, many things that was beyond our understanding and explanation. That codon represents that symptomatic expression of what just got activated. However, it is multidimensional. And as you harmonize in the allness of you, that DNA expression of you not only heals the 3rd and 4th and the 5th experiences and expressions of your allness, right? Because your allness has been activated by that DNA, and your allness is affected by that DNA expression. That 7th dimensional codon, that experiential symptomatic expression just got activated, but it affects the all of you. So that 5th dimensional expression of you on Sirius would also receive that packet of light, that operation, because you're now living in a higher vibration of expression of who you are, and you're happy, right? It's like, wow, I feel more like myself. And we all feel that when we get those DNA activations, we're calling forward those gifts and skills. We're calling forward that harmonization of our allness, and we don't feel that expression of separation. So every time we go through a DNA activation, every time we call in these soul fragments and these soul aspects, we feel more whole. And then we then activate those expressions of us that are held within those packets of our allness. And again, we're talking about DNA, but that DNA can also link to and as well be offered in the same as the energies that are in our fields, that are in our bodies, that download to us in any moment that we're connecting with our teams and with our special teams and units. Thank you, Arcturians. They're with us right now. They're constantly with me and with us in our healing and in our progression. So they're always constantly assisting us in our evolution and in our expansiveness. So, so what they were offering me today, and so this is why we're getting these activations, because we're meant to start to use our gifts and our skills and these excitements of, wow, we really feel excited. Now what? Now what? Right? And we're meant to open and operate within these higher vibrational perspectives, the oscillating light of who we are. We're integrating greater light. We're processing the integration of that light. Processing the integration of light, as we've often talked about in all of our private sessions and all of our team works and all of the things that you often come to me with in your vocational coaching, is that as you're processing this light, it's going to change as you harmonize into your allness. Right? It's meant to be, right? You're not going to process light in a 3D level if you're going through a release and you're calling in those understandings of what you're releasing, why you're releasing it, how to change your belief systems, how to change the perspectives that you were holding so that you can create a new reality. and call in that greater light and harmonize with that greater light and harmonize within the center of who you are as spirit. You're going to operate in a different way and process it in a different way and integrate it from a different perspective so that you can operate in the highest of intelligence that that light will offer, because light is intelligence. And it's meant to offer it to you because, as I said earlier in our introduction, many of our collective and much of our collective will be rewritten and will have to be and needed for our each individual unique perspectives to bring those higher vibrational potentiations to the collective, whether it's micro, macro, for the community or for the social collective, in many different operative arenas: medical, justice, banking, educational, health-wise. So it doesn't matter what arena that each and every one of you have interest in creating and helping and assisting. You're helping on the foundations and the wave makers, if you will, of the gates opening to say, I can infuse this higher vibrational light that is aligned with my sovereignty and my ability to activate and use all of those gifts and skills, because I absolutely know that it's aligned with the councils of light, the higher vibrational light programs, and in alignment with the grander evolutionary programs that Spirit and God offer all of our existence in. And so that's why, understanding and being intimate with who you are as spirit, constantly aligning with who you are as spirit, checking in and operating from that inner space and inner guidance, using only the guidance of spirit, and just following your joy, because remember that fifth dimensional portal is the beauty and the joy of all that you are as spirit, and being rich within your spirit. And so in that, we all feel these temptings of these energies that are coming forward to us and through us, and these portals that are coming to us and through us, and all that is within our collective that's ready to be changed. So really feel excited about it. Try and shift your perspective from getting taunted and tempted in with the vibrational stories that are held within protesting and fighting and all of those things. You can choose to step away from it and just begin to get excited about just creating new portals and avenues, which is a higher vibrational, peaceful perspective, and really step away from getting called into those vibrational stories of right and wrong and finger pointing and so on, but allowing the stories to play out for those that require that, and have it be okay, because it's all purposeful and needed. But you can choose that perspective of creating that peaceful portal of just new reality creation. And just know when you're seeing those things unfold in your social collective, because we will, then just to send peace and calm and prayers of light to really resolve from a higher perspective and release all judgment and release all, the blaming and the shaming game, which just continue the vibrational stories of right and wrong and separation. And so this is going to be a long one, so there's going to be a couple of notes. Got a couple of pages here. And so a couple of months ago, I did a channel very similar to this, and it's always comes from the councils of light, many councils of light that I work with within the Christ consciousness and the offices of the Christ, Melchizedek and Metatron, and the many, many beings in the councils of groups that are operating within the highest divine creator program of ascension and evolution for all systems of evolution. And as humanity is ascending, we're now allowing ourselves to look at the potentiation of who we are as individual creators of light, and allowing our unique gifts and skills to come forward in the most joyful and beautiful way to add value and to add upliftment and add joy and beauty to existing systems that are in vast and dire requirements of being rewritten and being recomposed, if you will, into new symphonies of light that are honored and threaded with light. And so it's up to us, as they're showing me right now, as the councils of light are saying that these are offerings of potentiation that are in alignment of many worlds that have already gone through. I'm just making sure that I recorded it. I always have to do that before I'm channeling, because there's some good stuff coming through. And so there's many worlds that have already gone through ascension and evolution, and they're from the I guess you could say they're from the offices that can see the various perspectives as they're seeing humanity unfold, potentiations on where these doorways and portals are for the greatest offerings to be made in where we can evolve our current perspectives, our beliefs about who we are, and how to add and infuse the unity and oneness factor so that there are even and more balanced opportunities of infrastructure. And because we're rebuilding our infrastructure, and if the infrastructure is weak and our infrastructure is built within chaos and lack of integrity, then you will find what is unfolding right now upon your earth, which is many systems and fractions that are, coming down, if you will, and creating their own tower moments because the lack of integrity simply cannot stand within the light that is surrounding and bedding it. And so the people are requiring answers. However, you can always move forward in these unfoldings and in these shakings about in more peaceful and higher resolve manners if you just have guidance for terms of engagement, if you will. And we're all helping you prepare for this as you're moving forward into these new portals and gateways, into how more calmly and more beautifully seek into the infinite potentiation that Spirit offers you to offer the bedding and the seeding for the potentials of your now new social potentials and infrastructures, if you will, that can be built from a space of light and oneness and harmony and unity for all, and how that may be served for the all, by the all, through the all. And so we're helping you create this from many of the worlds that have already gone through Ascension in very many ways. And many of you, as Joanna the Conduit, has been an ambassador of peace on many different realms, many different warring systems, of coming into these infrastructure experiences that can seem quite daunting and can seem quite chaotic, that there is always potential to sit within the very center of it and face all that needs to be worked out, and to absolutely iron what needs to be ironed out, and know that it is such an honor to do so in the way that all of you have now, to come forward and release all beliefs that hinder you, to release all beliefs that hold you back, and now create an open system of love and transparency and integrity for the greater good of all. And many of you have played many of these roles in your galactic traveling and your galactic adventure to add value to your galaxy, through which all bodies and all beings are that are as valued and that are honored in their fullest expression of who they are within the grander plan of the all. For remember, dear lighted ones, that each and every one of you are the experiential vessels and the presentations of that which is God, Mother, Father. And there are always the intrinsic values of who you are, the infinite belonging of who you are, for you are the belonging of that thread and color, that technicolor dream coat, that Spirit is the creator and the thread, and you are the creator with it. Therefore, thus then, you know that you will always offer the highest expression of who you are in creative joy and bliss to anything that you are so guided in excitement to. And it's always a perfect plan. There's no forcing or having to make or having to create from scratch in a way that seems forcible. No, they will simply be brought from your excitement to join, to commune, to offer, to be a part of. And so this is what we offer you, because it is our excitement to offer these wonderings and ponderings to you. As you've seen many of your structures now unfold, how may you really pull up your sleeves and watch it come down and peacefully say, now how can we pull together and make it better? How can we pull together and see the peace and the love and all that is, and bring balance and harmony and fairness to the all? For isn't that why your structures have been built, dear lighted ones? Most often than not, you have given your power away to say that these people know more about what is good for us, so let them make the decisions about what is our best. For now you are saying, return the power to thyself, and everybody get busy. Everyone have a part to play in the creatorhood of your 5D earth. For these are systems that you all ache for. They are systems that you will all use. They are systems that you will all benefit from. So therefore, thus then, why not have the people be a part of it? And we say thus then to all of those masters that are your children and your youth. Include them in these co-creative processes. For many of them, if you will, have far grander voices and far grander ideas that are beyond what you can ever imagine. So include them, include all, in your micro-macro experience of the family or the community or the collective, however you so desire to see it. For many of you are working on these councils and these groups from far vast galaxies, and you're coming together now upon this earth, and your feet and your fingers are itching to get busy, to tend your garden of this new experience. And so we now hand it over to the conduit to go through the notes that we have given in co-creation and in coherence with the councils of light and the many symphonies of light that work across these galaxies, to see each and every planet evolve in the most harmonious and beautiful way, and working in oneness and unity. Thank you. Thank you, councils of light. That was awesome. Thank you for always being with me. And so here we go into this expression of this, and I might channel in and out because they're with me and always speaking through me. So I'm going to pay attention to the notes as close as possible, so I don't miss anything, but they're always going to add things here and there. Thank you, the councils of light. I'm so very grateful, and Mother and Father God, thank you for the highest expression of our human experience as we're transitioning into these new arenas. And remember, they go into all social platforms and arenas of our collective. So really get excited, because each and every one of you are here for a reason. Spirit will guide you to these videos for a reason. when you're wondering about what your destiny is and what's your next footprint and where's your direction and where's your vocation, which I also offer the vocational coaching sessions. So our link is below if you wanted to come to us for those. And they're wanting me to back up for the introduction of this, just one segment. Again, it's very, I mean, goodness gracious. We have so many arenas that are going to require our intelligence and our genius for each and every one of us to explore and express and experience our gifts in our universal oneness, and really tapping into those DNA activations that we've just had downloaded, and really unpacking all the light that we've been unpacking, and really use these gifts to higher resolve. And so we're really excited. And so many of our videos will be about this, this vibration of the DNA activations and the light that's in our fields, and how to really accentuate the joy and the beauty that is in all that Spirit offers. We don't need to ever have any outside manipulation or control or forcing of any egocentric program in this experience, because it's all the sacred flow of who you are naturally and organically, innately, from all the worlds you've ever belonged to. And that's why when you understand the natural flow of who you are and what really exists within your DNA and all the worlds that you've ever come from on any reality of Earth, and when you're working with Spirit in the divine threading of Spirit and you have those activations, all that you are in your uniqueness is exactly what is needed for your own destiny to unfold, and how you activate those gifts and use them. So it's always a perfectly designed system. We never have to have ego, force anything for us. But they're a natural part of our process to kind of understand ourselves and surrender to Spirit. And so here we go. New potentials of social rewrite, and in the alignment of symmetry with many of the galactic councils and communities. Thank you for the clearing. So just have your heart space open and just move your, just do gentle sweeping, because many of these, they're showing me, will have blocks within the lower 2 or 3 chakras. And just because of the safety and connective issues or belief patterns that you may hold about a more liberated, free-flowing system of sovereignty and advocacy for the human, leading and sovereignly running their own life, so our government ideals will change, who we give our power to will change, and so many of these blocks and beliefs are held within the lower chakras. So just do a gentle sweeping up to release any blocks, and just have your heart chakra open just to receive with your intention. I choose to receive any energies and any codings that will come down, and the councils and the celestial beings that you all come with in your healing. Thank you, Spirit. We'll always show you and align with you what you're needing to download and what you will activate in your own divine timing. So we're always grateful. It's always divine and heavenly time. Your collective will be looking more closely at fair distribution, role relinquishment, and many rewrites when it comes to how you have worked within programs of hierarchy and power and position. There will be many of the dethroning of ideals and notions and beliefs, even traditions, that hold any one person, being, or group above another, and to bring into full awareness for the revamping and the inner value system to the outer co-creation. Because remember, inner and outer. So we're, again, that's that upside down, inside out thing. We're going to call all of our experiences in, and then begin to create this inside out experience, rather than giving our power away to outside sources that think they know best for us. And this is just an off side note that they gave me. So that's the, so bringing in full awareness of the revamping of the inner value and outer co-creation experience. When we look at pastors, if you will, from your past experiences and in your social collective now, the power, the credence, the judicial importance value that they have historically held, that we've given, remember, it's always us, there's never a blame game, there's always, we've given that power away equally. And so they've historically held, and yet on the inner world of most of these pastors, most were unawake and unaware of who they were, and not aligned with the inner balance of who they were with Spirit, on the divine feminine and the divine masculine equality of who they were in their energy fields and in their energy bodies. And so in that imbalance, how could we give such power away to the pastors in helping us make life transforming decisions when they were themselves imbalanced and not having the social experience in many of cases? And so that was just a side note there. And so in all of our rights of wellness and wholeness of the bodies and the fields of our reality, we will begin to experience a new creator reality. because we're honoring the wellness of who we are. We're honoring the wholeness of who we are. We're honoring the rights of our bodies and our fields, because those of us that have gone through many expressions and many experiences of many timelines that we're now healing, timelines of control, timelines of slavery, timelines of subjugation, timelines of black magic, we're all feeling those energies, and we're now starting to question and rework and revamp, what are my rights on my energy field? How do I manage and master putting sacred balance and boundaries on my field, so I'm not being taken from and my light is not being siphoned and pilfered and hindered and inhibited by others and those experiences that do go on in the collective for the various time being, until all of the infrastructure is worked out and oneness is understood. People tend not to play those games when they understand the return effect, right? But there are so many in the collective that have gone through those experiences of spell work and black magic and close social programs, even in a work environment, where energy and manipulations occur. And so how to hold your bodies and your fields in the ownership and the rightfulness of who you are as a part of your human rights. And so I'll read that again. To own, to boss, and they said to boss as part of one of our modern euphemisms. To boss means that you are the manager of your own, your epicenter. We called it commandmentship in many of our videos and many of our postings. So commandmentship is you being the boss of you. You get to say, my fields are comfortable. I'm going to set that boundary with this particular experience or that particular group of energy when I interact, because I feel like this. So basically the boss means that owning the inner experience of who you are. If you're feeling uncomfortable in any situation, know that you can navigate and stand within it in your pillar of light and just set the appropriate boundaries. You are the boss of you. You are the boss of your chakras. You're the boss of your consciousness. And you get to state and say with grand, profound power, because this is the new 5D, is that you are in alignment with the full ownership and the honoring of you. You're the boss of you. Fields, mind, body, heart, and soul. And therefore never giving your power away to, say, a pastor who has no idea about who you are as an empath or a healer or a Christic grid worker. So we're going to be getting more and more. This is really, really fun. They're showing me, okay, so they'll say, they said to do it later. They don't want me to talk about that yet. So there's many great things coming. And so we're looking at being the boss of who we are, being the leader of who we are, and being the commander of who we are, and knowing that I'm the boss of my body. And, I remember talking to my kids about this many, many years ago, having that right to say, this is my body and this feels comfortable, that doesn't feel comfortable. So be the boss of your body, be the boss of your energetic field and your epicenter. If you are absolutely in an experience that doesn't feel comfortable, or you are absolutely in those experiences that that there are lack of integrity or deceitful experiences going on, and you absolutely know there are, you don't have to prove it to anybody. You don't have to make sense of any of it. You don't have to thread and engage in that energy exchange. You can simply state what you know to be true, state what is good for you, and the honoring and owning of your body and fields, and then you can just detach and move in a different direction. Because you can choose how you want to engage with those situations that you're owning yourself now, right? And you're setting those clear boundaries, you're setting those clear standards, you're setting those clear intentions, and the spirit and the heavens will, again, assist you in equal measure. But you have to own it. You have to say, I'm ready for this, spirit. I'm ready to own myself as full and honoring now. And nobody and no thing can thwart my path, can thwart the destiny, can thwart my body, can bring any harm to me, and nobody can. Nobody can bring harm to you or your body or your destiny. No outside being can derive you in a certain direction. There are those beliefs in the collective, but when you're honoring the wholeness of who you are and you're realigning with who you are as the Christ, you're owning the boss of you. You are the boss of you, and you direct your destiny. Therefore, your chakras, your energy field, all that you're able to maintain and sustain, and all that you're able to call in is rewriting the whole entire foundation of the manifestation, the manifestation market that is, because you're absolutely being that threaded co-creator with spirit, and nothing can affect you. And that is also in equal repair to all health and wellness, right? And keeping your all that you are in health and wellness and upliftment of your highest DNA every time you want to activate it, and then call in that highest DNA application of youthfulness and wellness. Thank you. And so this is from the Councils of Light. So these are the universal and galactic providences as we see fit, and will promise our engagement with you. So they're saying that in our universal movement about and galactic about, because of the light programs that are all omnipresent and in alignment with God, that each and every one of us has God within. The center of every molecule is the universe. Everything is God. All is omnipresent. All is spirit. All is source. And everything is aligned with the evolutionary programs in the higher creator gods, the higher creator programs for all of evolution that we are all micro, macro, pearl threaded. We're all linked with. And so these are the universal galactic providences. That's their providence. We honor you. We want you to feel the boss of you. We want you to honor the boss of you. We want you to honor the omnipresence of who you are as spirit, and to sustain and maintain. And we will always offer appropriate counsel, light programs, assistance, and help as you ask for it and as you need it and require it. And so they will offer that in providence. That's their promise and in our evolutionary process. So this is why they're coming through me as well to offer this, so that you know that through these profound dynamic earthly changes, we always have galactic and celestial help. So it's just about us tuning in to see where our excitements are, and then we align with our council groups and our council guides, and then we get that highest intentional download, and then we start co-creating in alignment with that. We always want to make sure that we're aligned with the light programs and with our excitement. It will always be a thread, right? Your creative joy and excitement, plus with the alignment of the light programs, because it's equal to the sacred trinity, our collective, our soul, and Gaia. And so as we see fit, and we always promise you this with our engagement with you, how you evolve and transform on your world will depend all on equal involvement for your higher resolve and change. For it's got to be us. We've got to say we want higher resolve. How can we change this, right? And if we equal resolve, always equal measure. So be in joy to review and reflect upon decisions, for it will show you where the greatest imbalances are, where the greatest lack is, and where the greatest requirement is for the fairness and resolve of anything and where it resides. So if there's anything within as you're going through your daily morning ascension, you're saying, where is the greatest lack? Where do I feel the greatest lack? Where do I feel the greatest imbalance, indifference? Where do I feel that there's a greater requirement for me to engage and tune in? So then you will see the imbalance. Am I engaging too much? There's got so much engagement here, I've got nothing left for me. So that's where you require that centering. How can we start fanning out responsibility and role so that everybody has a part to play? And you're not over engaging, you're not under engaging, and everybody has an equal measure. Everybody has an equal part. And then each person has their role, their choice, and their will. They might not want to be of equal role. They might just want to stay in their role and how they play in their role, and that's okay too. But then you have equal share and opportunity to say, I'm not there yet. I don't want to be a part of the equal share program, and that's okay, right? Everybody has their free will, right? So this is why you want to be able to put this out on the table as we see our social structures in our outer creative collective that are shaking and rumbling. You get to say on the, suss it out on your own collective or community or family table. You say, well, these are where the imbalances are. Let's suss it out. Let's work it out, right? It's got to be balanced. Everyone's got to have absolute fairness, absolute providence, the promise to one another, the roles and responsibility to one another, the fairness to one another. All are respected, all are valued, all are equally sharing in their gifts and their uniqueness, and all are belonging, and all are equally honored in their soul's path and journey, right? Because soul has a plan, source and spirit have a plan for everybody. Right? Everybody has a temperament, everybody has a pacing, and everybody has their unique gifts and offering. And everybody will be uniquely offered the all. That's Spirit's promise to you. Be in delicate proceedings of all such human development. So be really sacred about how gentle we're meant to go about this and honor it. It's really a great time, right? It's really a great time. You don't want to go thrashing in and say, this is all got to be rewritten and, and just thrashing about. You want to be in gentle proceedings because they're really beautiful times, and you want to go about it in a gentle and slow and methodical way, maybe even strategic way, through which all of the details are placed out, and all have access to the review of where things are imbalanced, where things are unfair, and how can the situations be brought back up into reciprocity for whatever that situation might be. So be gentle in the proceedings, be caring and kind about the proceedings, and do it with great care and intention, because whatever you move into it with great care and attention, and you're opening that portal for light to come in to say, where's the divine relationship and how can we infuse light, because we want to take great care on this. We want to proceed gently and with care and caution, because we want to be able to do our best at it this time, so that we're not going to have to be rewriting it fully, because it's going to crumble down in another 6 months, right? Because whatever is not built on that foundation of truth and light and care and love, or oneness and integrity, then that will come crashing down. And especially as we're oscillating faster as a collective, we want to make sure that we're going about it in a great, caring, and generous way with our intentions, right? And so be in delicate proceedings of all such human developments, because we're really at a beautiful point right now. It's just where that little beautiful bud is coming up out of the soil, right? And you want to be able to give it some space. You want to be able to give it some room to grow and to breathe, and have its space, and have that little flower look around and say, wow, this is my new home. And this is where each family and each person in of itself, micro, macro, you are the seed that's just blooming and just becoming new. And you get to look around and say, wow, what do I get to be a part of? How can I breathe in this air? And just take your time and be delicate with it. Because it's a very beautiful time of our development as this new human 5D culture and galactic becoming, right? You want to always approach with loving, calm, and sacred care. You want to listen in a sacred way, in a sacred honoring. So too that all are valued and honored in their roles, in their desires, in their wishes, and all have the offering of choice of participation or action. Such are all the reworkings and the rewritings of all the rights of the respectful and loving honor, to be held by each for each. So to honor each, to value each, to express that within each, and to have each express that within their own comfort level and their own timing and pacing. And they get to offer and own themselves as their own boss, that to choose not to be a part of the rewrite as well, right? For that is the expansion that can occur when you place yourself within all levels for the higher perspectives, and then glean firsthand the potentials in the collaborative offerings. So they say taking that soft and slow and gentle care, you get to put yourself in the perspective of all involved in any collaborative offering. And when you place yourself in the honoring of all, you're allowing yourself to see as an empathic and compassionate perspective their unique offering, their unique belonging, their unique eyes view, if you will. And therefore that divine order that comes down with light to say, now all have been honored, now all have been heard, now all are equally balanced and sharing and equal in this presentation. And now all are coming forward in equal participation, say, I want to be a part of this. How can we make this beautiful and sacred and gentle and really delicate, right? You want to all have that nurturing cohesion. And it might be a little bit to work through the uncomfortable moments and the discomfort, because not all will be comfortable with change and might fight it and resist it. And so this is where you want to go with the delicate and sacred ear and just listen and be honoring of change and say, well, we really do need to move forward, because our whole collective is needing to catch up here. We're needing to kind of open all that we are to the vast potentiation that light and spirit offers. And so allow all of those to, say, give a time experience. If there's a big change that needs to be rewritten and there's some really profound monumental shifts that are going on, give everyone, say 3 days, a week, so that they can sit in meditation and counsel and guidance with them and their higher selves to come back with their ideas and their musings and their participations and their comfort level. Right? Because every person might have a different responsibility and weight and level of carrying that they're doing of the loads of everything else outside of whatever the rewrite is. And so allow all to kind of start harmonizing the minutia of what they've all got to work with. Because again, each person has a different pacing and temperament. So their participation factor in the collaborative rewrite might be different, and it might be needing a separate infusion of allowance, right? And that's that equal compassionate give and take. And that's why those that will be a part of these will be those that have been on the path of the human evolution for many, many times, like many of us as code breakers. We've been here so many times, and we're really eager and we're really excited to get going and working on many of the frontline rewrites, because we've been doing this for so long. And we understand that there's many that are awakening that just need to take their time and their delicate experience into moving through the awakened process. And they might not want to be part of the building process because they're still going through a lot of dark nights of the soul. So that's why it's really important to be delicate with this process of rewrite, and understand even those that would be, what we see in our news out protesting. they're in each of their unique phases and stages of ascension. They might not be, those ones that protest may not be the ones that absolutely rewrite. They're just voicing an opinion of unfairness or unjust because it aligns with an experience that they probably had. And that's part of their excitement to go and be a part of change in whatever way they feel necessary, as long as it's done peacefully and they're not causing harm or damage, right? But those are the experiential minutiae that everybody's going to go through and work with. But each and every one of you watching will know kind of where you're at. You'll want to know that, wow, I really feel excited to be a part of something. You might be at this phase where I've got something going in my personal life and I can look at where all the injustices are and the imbalances are, and I can see where I can be delicate with myself and I can ask for help to call in so it's more balanced. And I can take the ownership and the boss of me and know that anything that I need, you might be a single parent, you might be a single experience, if you will, because we're saying rewrite, social rewrite. You might be a single parent that might be going through a court case to create greater fairness. You might be going through you might be on the council of a school that is dealing with something very sensitive. And you might say, well, how can I use this? And how can we all bring ourselves up to a higher resolve so that we're really looking at it from an empathic and compassionate perspective and knowing that everybody has their unique pacing, but they're all still equally valid in the unification of coming up with new collective rewrites in whatever social arena that it has to do with. Right? So we want to be inclusive and we want to be honoring and we want to be delicate. And so they're just saying, as heaven is always with you. So very dumb, my gosh. So funny. I was going through a release last night and my teams were just, it's like my teams just kind of sit back and they watch me. They're just always sending me, they've got love and they're surrounding me with love and healing. And they're saying, oh, Joanna, we love you so much. And I'm going through my release. And they're just so delicate and gentle with me. And they're just this constant stream of unconditional love and constantly showing me and believing in me all the time. And they're always so amazed at how well, because I don't see everything. I was telling that this morning. I was going, it's easy for you to say as I'm getting out of the shower. I'm looking over the shower curtain. No, it's easy for you to say. You guys see everything. You're holding this back for me. You're veiling this over me. You're not showing me this and you're not showing me that. I'm drying myself, with a bit of agitation, and they're just saying, Joanna, just, you got everything. You just trust in the process, trust in the program. And I'm just like, yes, I know. And breathe. Bring yourself back to center. Too funny. And they're just sitting there, you're fine, you've got it, you have so much talent, and you've got this, you've done this 100 times before on this planet and that planet, you've done this over there, and all this. I was going, yes, but you see that? I don't. They'll give me glimpses and stuff, right? Because all of the consciousness effort is right here and now, right? Because as an empath and as a crystal, you're not only reviewing and being a part of your life, but you absolutely are anchoring and holding space for your entire collective. So it's important that you gotta be present and anchored, because I know that it's about the collective, right? And that's why they tend not to overwhelm me with anything too specific, because I know what I'm doing in the greater scam, the greater scheme of my role, right? They know that I'm holding it for people. So they don't want to bother me with like next week's dinner. They're just like, just go with it. Shower curtain flings. Too funny. So honor and be held by each is the expansive. Okay, so we're going to read that again. So honor and be held by each, for each are the expansive potentials that occur. So when you place yourself within all levels, for the higher perspectives, you always want to say, what can I glean from this higher perspective? And you glean it from all potentials on all sides. Then you're allowing for the highest potential in any collaborative offering. For light, for options, and for potentials will always be offered when you are in further review and determination upon all involved. So again, equally, all have their right of determination of how they want to be infused and how they want to contribute and how they want to be involved. What is their determination level? I'm determined to make this work. I am determined to see this through. I'm determined to heal. I am determined to create a fluid learning structure in this experience. I'm determined to create a more balanced enterprise within the family. I am determined to create fairness of all voices being heard and shared and honored. I am determined to ensure the fair rights and the honoring rights of our bodies and our fields. so that not one person ever has to feel as if they're emotionally and mentally subjugated or depressed and suppressed because of others' agendas and private agendas of black magic and dark magic, because they don't want their voices heard, or they want them squashed, they want them to move into a certain arena, whatever it might be. All have rights, all have the experience of their highest and their best in all collaborative environments. And what each of us are entitled to come forward and share and express and co-create, we each have the right to start remolding and reworking. When you understand the stories of the vibration that are kept in all of the things that are now crumbling, you now see it from a higher perspective and say, I see where you might have thought that because you were feeling as if you had no control and you wanted that control. So you decided to choose energy and use it in a certain way, but you saw how it affected other people and how damaging it was. So there has to be those learning determinations of, I'm determined to see different ways. I'm determined to come to a higher resolve. I'm determined to use things in different ways. That way it's giving everybody the potential to heal and to be healed across the board. Does that make sense? So if it's in a family experience and you see that there's things going on, part of the elephant in the room is to never occur and never to uplift and to never put all the dust on the table and say, how can this be worked out? Because it's the elephant in the room. Right, where now it's being talked about and say, well, how can this be a cross healing experience? Because the choices that occurred, you now can see the results of that and how it harmed and how it hurt and how it had somebody that you have no idea is going through, you know, a depressive state. And there's, you know, experiences where, you know, mental and emotional and spiritual and energetic abuse is going on. So those are held within the equal rights. Everyone has the right for their boss of their body, their multidimensional bodies and their fields. And so again, we're going to say, this is really exciting because this will also imply a lot of great potentials for the healing and holistic healing arena. Because again, many that are going through counseling and therapeutic outreach sessions, psychiatric sessions, there's going to be a lot of work done in the next few years of consciousness and multidimensional healing that will add and contribute to a higher resolve of collective and collaborative cross healing. You know, because they're understanding that the body in and of itself, as many, progressive therapy and quantum healing therapy, hypnosis, we understand that it's a multidimensional experience to heal the wounds from other timelines and experiences, and it's the spiral of now that we do so. And so that will have a great arena for influx of light and potentiation that we all get to glean from, and how to understand energy. Everything is energy. Our intention, the vessel, and how we are the boss of our vessel, how we manage and sustain and maintain our vessel within the chakras and within our intentions and within our joy, just to be who we are. And then understanding when we do come across those navigations of discomfort, then we get to feel what feels comfortable and owning and being the boss of you, and then get to put on those boundaries and those rules of engagement so that you're not in having that energy exchange with things that don't feel comfortable and are taking or, depleting or not honoring or respecting your energy and your value systems. And so this is what they're wanting me to go back and touch on. What we're talking about now is the rewriting of all these systems, and why it's coming down, and why is because many reasons, because a lot of it was lack of integrity and transparency and truth. So what we're going to be going through, and why each and every one of you have the unique soul experiences that you do, because everyone in their own unique right and their own unique perspective and their own unique soul's plan and path and pacing. And it's all right and true for each person. Everyone is needed so that we all see the various reflections so that we all learn and become masters. And there is no blaming or shaming. There are just the experiences that we must move through on every soul's path, and why we can never really fight or protest. Just bring a higher resolve so that all have the potential to choose how determined they are to live in a higher experience of who they are as spirit. The free flowing of love and light and all is abundant. Or not, it's always, everybody will be at a different pace, because each person has their own unique value system, roles, and truths about who they are and what exists within them and what they exist within. So this is where it's really, really important that we be delicate, because everybody has a different set of truths, values, and morals, and not that anyone is right or wrong, but how can we work within the systems and the minutia, and each person having their right of engagement, having their right of responsibility and boss for their bodies and fields, and then all others in the group also respecting that. So that if there is the group of participation wants to continue in the experience of whatever they're continuing in, but one person wants to continue living an experience that is of greater respect and value because they've gone through an awakening. They're now saying that, no, I want my body treated this way. I want to feel comfortable in this. I want to express myself in this way. And then there's those discordances and mismatches. Then those rights are to be honored and expressed and valued because it's the experience of spirit, and the experience of spirit is valued and of free will to all beings. That's the sovereign right use of free will, right use of law of one. Everyone's experience and expression and experience exploration with spirit is unique to each. So if one is ready to experience it in a higher vibrational way, then they have that right to do so. And then for all to allow that to occur without hindrance, without blocking, without stopping or devaluing or any other, whatever else might happen, right? Because there will be the time where others will want to leave the group and also create that, and they want to be respected and honored as well. So again, it's always about the law of return, the law of balance, the law of equal reciprocity, whatever that word is, because it will always return back to whatever it is you're trying to minutia around and navigate around. So it's always willing to come out and be most gentle on all of these aspects, understand the delicateness and the sovereignty of each involved, giving all the free will to be honored and valued in each experience. And then that will allow the sovereignty, which is really important. That's the right use of free will. That is the sovereignty, free will, Christed sovereignty each have as a human, as a multidimensional human being, to have their bodies and their rights and their fields and all that they are, the expression of who they are, the experience of who they are, to be valued and honored, especially the children. And just be the boss of that experience, to be the boss of that expression, to be the boss of their potentiation, right? And give it to them, right? You are the boss of your body. Okay, so, within range, right? You don't want your kids going out and playing in the, the highway, right? Again, it's common sense. But, offer them, say, you are the boss of your creativity. What is your voice and how would you like to express it? What do you feel we could resolve this? What are your ideas? Give them that right of empowerment, right? You want to empower them into the rights of their body, empower them into the rights of their voice and their freedom and their liberation of their creative expression. Return that power back. And so to retire on only one idea, one way, would limit the highest potential of growth. For God and spirit and all of your guides and the awakenedness, mastery comes into play as each are unified within the part and within the whole, and each become more healed, right? So the parts are the parts of the whole. So every part is a part of the whole. And every part has a different level and variance of awakenedness. So to say that only one part is valued while the others are not, that's not a part of the holistic system of all being of higher resolve to rewrite, right? So to look at all things, not one idea, not one way, is just. And that's why to be gentle and delicate and come up with all various positions and empathy and compassionate perspectives and really suss it out. That's where the juice is, because each and every time you do that, whether it's in your own daily self-care of your own ascension path, you're building profound and tremendous ambassadorial skills and gifts for taking it out into the real world. Whether you're on student council, whether you're on educational councils, when you're in the banking system, whatever it might be, but you're really gaining profound ambassadorial gifts, and you absolutely know that you're going to be taking that on and off world, and you're going to be helping future planets that we will be assisting through ascension. Because there's a few planets that we will be directly contracted with. They're showing me two planets that many of us are collectively contracted with. When we are ready to, we're doing it in our higher vibrational states of consciousness, are helping other planets go through ascension, and we will be their guides, and we will be helping them, the councils of light. We will be like the councils of light, because they're training us. We're in training, constantly in training for the upliftment of our planet through higher potentiations. Okay, so within unity, growth is. So it's hard to establish growth if you're not a part of the whole, right? Your unique sovereign growth is always and always will be connected to the whole. It always is. You are not connected. You are always connected. Anything that you activate and in honor place on the table to suss out and sort out to a higher resolve, and all are involved, you're uplifting the whole entire group, and you're calling in those ambassadorial skills and gifts that the councils of light will offer to you in those rewrites, right? The highest potentiation of all counsels is for the greater good of the all. So what light will be infused, and they will offer it to you. And again, in the divine timing of where everybody is at in their own unique divine soul plan, those, make no mistake about it, and I've talked about this for years and in my books, because it's just the experience that I've gained over the 15 or 16 years that I've been doing this intensively, intensively moving about this ascension path. And because I'm an intuitive and I'm a conduit and an empath and a crystal, we see things at very intricate dynamic levels. We do pay attention to the earth moving, and we do pay attention to the little tiniest of movement energetically. We feel it. We can feel the timelines. We can feel things move at the smallest of levels. And this has happened more times than I can count in many of my global webinars and classes and groups and, coaching sessions and private sessions. And in my own life experience, in what I recognize and what I honor and know, and being channeled in the multidimensional expression that I am. When you're going through an activation, and you're when you're going through an activation, because it feels, the inner world of you feels different and changed. And you usually, your teams will usually plan it when you have a couple of days of downtime. If you're feeling like you're getting a cold, sometimes your body will manifest a cold, so you can go through a DNA activation and your teams have your full attention just to rest. And then you wake up and you usually have a really, really heavy sleep on your DNA activation. Really, really heavy sleep. You woke up and said, whoa, that was just like 12 hours of hardcore sleep. You've got the eye crusties and your color drool hanging down. And you got really dry mouth and like pasty mouth. And you're feeling lethargic and a bit slower, and just, allow your body just to process. Try not to do too much seeking and exploring, but just do a lot of outdoor time. Just keep resting and drinking lots of water, and quiet time and resting, because your body is doing a lot of new cellular work, new cellular regeneration, resynaptic wiring, all of the telomeres and all of the new processes within the brain are being rewired and worked. Again, when we talked about the life systems healing teams, they're doing their work on you when you have a DNA activation, 2 to 4 days, and constant work. And I said many of them, my teams will give me, they'll give me a little shot in the arm to help me. They use various things, vitamins and things like that, light coding, things like that, to help me move through various situations of transformation. And so the DNA activations are in direct alignment with your soul's divine plan, divine timing, because Spirit knows, God knows, on a multidimensional experience, with all the groups and councils that you belong to, with the collective change that are going on, with the community change that's going on, with the familial change that's going on, those activations will be in direct alignment and divinely timed, and why you never have to worry about it. Just stay in communion with your teams and work on your own self-healing and self-love of your body every night. Of things that shift and change that you will be needed for, and those gifts and skills will be ready for you to be activated, and that codon is now open. The blocks are now released, right? What you thought you were blocked on is a multidimensional experience, and some experience blocks in many different ways, and there are many different things. So a block cannot be just one thing. There are many different things depending on what you're going through, and your teams will release those blocks when you are equal in measure to the receiving of whatever is in that codon that God lights with you. You and God are lighting that codon. And many of us have gone through many DNA transitions on a very quick process. I had one about a month ago, and I'm going through another one right now. So it's bing, 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 and there's not a lot of time in between. But when you're used to the cycle and you're intimate with it, then you can handle those DNA accelerations, right? And also too, that release of the block, we're going to call it a block, it's just a veil that is placed over that part of the DNA. And God lights it in the infusion of your intention with God. And God sees through all of the work that you've done. Have you seen it from various angles? What did you learn? What did you take away? How can you choose the new behaviors? How can you choose the new alignment of your self-love and self-worth? It will always be aligned with self-love and self-worth. And how you choose to then practice your new 5D experience as light. Remember, you're always harmonizing the light, unpacking it. That unpacking is a continual experience. However, in your ascension cycle, your teams will want you to create, usually in a monthly, weekly experience, especially in new moons, your summation. And that summation is the reworking of, well, what could I have done differently? What, if I'm carrying any guilt or regret, well, how can I clear that out? And how can I see it from a higher perspective? And again, we're saying this because it's all divine timing. It's an elegant life system within life system. They're divinely elegant systems of potentiation, of light, of evolution. And you know that you are threaded with it. And so too are all others. So honoring your collective experience of collaborative DNA, universal soul harmonization, your omnipresence, you're a collaborative. You and your soul are a collaborative. You begin using your DNA, you begin using your gifts, you begin using all that you are to be a part of the collective grander scale and scheme of what's going on. There's always a grander plan. God knows, God has a plan. And why nothing and no block or anything can be held from whatever it is destined. And each person is destined for their own unique unveiling, right? Then when that gate is lifted, there you go. And so just know that when you're having those activations and there is, and I've said that in my very first book, there is such divine elegance and there's such beauty and grace and such unconditional love and gentleness. You walk with teams. You walk with teams of guides. You walk with teams of healers. You walk with teams that are connected to groups and councils and federations and all that is in the all that is. You're never alone, ever. The question is, in your awakening, are you ready to tune in and bring the boss of you to the table and say, how can I be a part of this co-creative process? I'm really excited. Because when you breathe and walk with God, you're absolutely in that co-creator and all your toolkit and all your tools are out. Boom, you got it, you got it, you got it, got it. And you're not affected by the outer experience anymore, right? You're gaining that tough skin, if you will, because you absolutely know that's just a part of navigating energy. And all people are doing the best that they can because most are still unaware of the traumas that they carry. And they're still trying to work around the navigation of ego and the dark night of the soul and all that comes with the evolution of the soul. And all aspects and all perspectives are absolutely all needed. They're the greatest teachers of the mastery that we all gain and we all glean, right? That's why we got to be delicate with one another. It's a beautiful experience. And we can take judgment out of it and just say, you're going through that. I went through that 2 years ago, right? You know, but I'm absolutely setting boundaries now and you can't do magic on me. You know, guides are on top of it. You know, whatever boundaries you need to start setting, we can just release all the drama and the conflict with it. Because when you're in charge of your body, nobody and nothing can touch you. You know, you don't have to worry, have the fear mongering, right? You don't have to have it. And offer that to the children. They can walk with pride and they can walk with greatness and they can walk with the boss of their own beingness and the boss of their own creative reality and really release all the fear and the anxiety. Because there is nothing outside of you. Once you've released that story of victimhood, there is nothing that can play with you in that way, right? The victimhood is gone. You're not a vibrational match to victimhood. Therefore, that victimhood vibration cannot come and play with you, right? It's all about vibration and being delicate and gentle with it now that you understand and know it, and why the ascension pathway that you have and how the DNA is activating and what is really held within that DNA and how it absolutely threads to the multidimensionality of all that you are as a soul and why it's threaded to an infinite number of things and beings and systems. God knows what God's doing. God knows what's coming up in the collective in 2 months that you're absolutely needed now for the exact thing that you're saying right now. God knows. So just trust the beautiful benevolence of the God plan. And sorry, God wants to say something, Spirit, Mother, Father. Okay, thank you. They're just excited for me in my highest joy and how I express myself because they absolutely know that I'm in alignment with my highest joyful frequency. So they're just celebrating me with that inside. Thank you, Spirit. And they're saying that, sorry, now go back, Spirit, God, thank you. Yes, there will always be the temptations of the many offerings that we will always have offered to you and for you, for we are in such delight and adoration of who you are as Spirit. And just know that all moments are your perfect moments with us. All moments are your perfect moments to just soak within the love of who you are and have always been. To see yourself within all new moments, to potentiate new, higher resolve of unconditional love and oneness for yourself. As you do so, all else will be in return. You do not have to worry about catching up or missing the boat or not going through a gate, for it will always be perfect for what is needed. And we, of course, and we stand by you and with you in all moments, and we love you so dearly, children. For you are all our sacred children, and we understand that you have all come with many wounds that need healing, and with many temptations that might cause you to feel bad and lacking of yourself. So just allow yourself to choose from a place of self-love and self-honor and believing in yourself. You're all meant to have the joyful life and the abundant life that you also choose in healthy bodies. They will always be with you. It is our determination, as we are always in one with you. Thank you, daughter. Thank you, Spirit. I'm in love with you. Thank you. I'm so grateful. Thank you. So it is upon our grand discoveries that all will be found for appropriate steps forward in the new upliftment and enjoyment and all participations of all gifts and offerings, so that not all are being depleted through overzealous expectations or archaic roles and obligatory definitions that simply do not serve the unified equal front. This is not biased to anyone's directive or agenda or creed of allowance or belonging affiliation. So what they're saying is that in the overseeing of it from the highest perspective, it's not going to be biased to someone's affiliation with a certain group, because we've all been in business meetings like that, right? That's kind of the abuse of power, that somebody belongs to this and somebody belongs to that. So then the swaying of the energy goes to that collective or that group or that creed. It's not going to be in anyone's directive and agenda to sway it in any way, because when you're in that awakened state and you're uplifting it to the highest resolve, all absolutely can feel the intention and the truth level and the integrity level behind all that's being said and offered, because truth is a vibration, integrity is a vibration, and all must be determined to come to the table in truth and integrity, right? In the 5D, they're saying that it won't be biased to any one creed or anyone's directive, right? It's going to be of equal opportunity for all, in the all, with the all, created by the all. Because all is of equal value and importance, and it requires equal and fair representation. The freedom of liberation without again, causal infiltration or interference, or multidimensional, or no, they said, okay, let's go back to that. That was a mouthful. Sometimes when I'm channeling these words, it's a huge mouthful and there's no breaks in the sentences. All is of equal value and importance and requires equal and fair representation, freedom, liberation, without, again, the causal infiltration, interference, or multilateral agendas that simply desire to repeat old cycles and roles. So again, that reminds me back up to what they said about unbiased. We're not going to be repeating biased creed and directives, the private agendas and directives, because you can feel those energies. We have to practice this. I remember we would go in, many of my business, meetings. We would have this huge, contract that this huge project we'd have to get through. And we would meet once a week, with the project managers. And every week we would get to the first 15 minutes would be the most, the most inspirited, right? Everybody would come to the table with all their, they'd come with the past week's experiences, what they learned, what they were moving through, what the hurdles were, and we'd all put it on the table and how we moved through. The first 15 minutes were always the highest. And then it would move back into returning back to the old cycles and biases, because the energy would flow back into the same cycles of behavior and patterns. So this is why we have to do it delicately and always have those people that are most of the inspired light experiences, if you will, to constantly weave the club back into alignment and release themselves from the perpetual habitual experiences that everybody just goes to, because it's just normal process of evolution. They want to go back to what's comfortable. We want to go back to saying that Dan does all the decisions because Dan's always done the decisions. Let him make the decision, because that's where we return that power back to each person. So they're showing me everybody in this business meeting that I once had at that project review. And half an hour in, everybody's energy was just giving so much to the experience and to the table. And many of you that have had business meetings, you get this, because it's all an exchange of energy. Everybody's really excited to commune and see what's what. But then it comes into, well, how are we going to integrate it? Then the energy level just goes right down, right? Because you're not using the energy in a balanced and in a balanced perspective, right? So you have to have that person that understands energy to ensure that there will be equal flow of energy throughout the entire process, and then responsibilities and roles and definitions and excitements and experiences are then fanned out so that the energy can be equally met, and not just in the first 20 minutes and then everybody goes to sleep and then it just goes back to Dan, right? So you got to allow that equal opportunity for that fair exchange and equal opportunity for that light to continue on throughout the whole process. And everybody walks away uplifted and ready to go. And so that's just some of the things that light and the 5D consulting can assist in businesses and how you're moving through such grand project development, and not falling back into older systems of biasness, and having, again, the foundations that will eventually crumble because they were not led in the highest of integrity, because they just fall back into systems that are comfortable, and we're breaking that. And so again, without the causal infiltration or interference of multilateral agendas, especially in the higher, in the busier threaded networks like banking, pharmaceutical, that kind of stuff, where there's multilateral agendas. Everybody's trying to get their points heard in all of those experiences, whether it's a political arena. Multilateral agendas everywhere. This is why we've had the problem that we had, and I had a video a couple months ago about the forgiveness of debt on the councils of light. And it's a little blue cross, the video picture that's on that video. And so go listen to that a couple months ago, the forgiveness of debt, because they were describing this multilateral problem that we have in our social collective arrangement, how we manage and how we arrange our social collective, and why rarely do the social systems and the social platforms ever fan out to the highest and the greatest good, because there's so many multilateral agendas that it gets bottlenecked. And the services right from A to Z never get met because there's so many multilateral agendas, and everybody's taking a piece of the pie. And by the time it gets to the human, they're getting a portion of what that energy was really intended for. As we said the other day, when you're going into the grocery store, there's always an intention. There's an intention in the fresh water produce and the water-rich foods, and there's an intention in the packaged foods. There's intentions in it all. Multilateral agendas have intentions. So by the time they get all of their fingers in it and everybody's pulling at what their agendas want and need, even though they could understand they could be doing something different entirely and gain more, it's no different than any individual that wants to experience the idea of taking from another. When you just focus on you, you can absolutely gain more if you're just focusing on you and your alignment. It's no different than the multilateral agendas. Same thing, same energy. They're breeding on the experience of lack. Therefore, they're wanting to take from something else, get their hands in, get the red tape in there, and by the time it gets to the client, there's little left. Just understanding universal energy, to use it in delicacy, to use it in honor, and to use it in respect of all involved, because eventually it affects everybody, and it's got to be rewritten. It'll come crumbling down. So you want to be able to manifest something from the highest potentiation so that everything is being uplifted, all are being uplifted, and all will absolutely be served. And there will be no agenda that will be on or above the owl. And so they're just going back to, pharmaceuticals, as we all know. Some of the biggest corruption that we have in our collective is the pharmaceutical industry. And how much money is made in the pharmaceutical industry. And you can tell the multilateral agendas just in the pharmaceutical experience. And so this allows us to kind of say, well, in my own unique experience, in my own ascension, micro, macro, how can I bring the fairness and unilateral, where everybody's experience is fair and safe and valued? How can I offer, and how can I ask them to be involved in the collaboration? How can I say, you have a unique pacing and so do I? How can we respect each other in that? How can we allow the cords to be cut so that each have freedom to live in their own unique perspective and bring to the table what is needed for the greater good, right? So that all are served, all are required in that minutia of what is needed, right? This is how you can have those cross-cultural experiences. And that's a whole other show, we'll go into that later. They're just showing me that on these cross-cultural experiences, we absolutely know that a developed country and an undeveloped country have different minutia of speed, oscillation, in how they process information, how their systems of infrastructure work. We absolutely know that, right? The lack of infrastructure in undeveloped countries. So how can we be a part of this really grand experience of incredible excitement that we each have part to play? We're each here for this greatness of humanity, to rewrite and to lift everybody to the highest and unify everybody in it. All will be healed in the process. It's a very delicate experience, and all are loved, all are valued. God does not judge anyone on any part of the journey. It's all needed for what each person needs and requires. And again, the council said, we're going to be here as our providence to you, because you are going to be us in a few years. We say years, that's just in, earth evolutions to other galactic planetary experiences. We want to hold that providence. I hold providence, and I hold promise, and I hold the boss of my own experience, right? It's my responsibility to maintain my light. It's my responsibility to know what's going on with my light. It's my responsibility to know that this environment honors my light. This environment nourishes my light. This environment knows that when I speak truth, it's my truth. And is it being honored and held in and upheld in the Most High as I hold others in the Most High? Is it fair? Is there a fair exchange here? And if there's not, then place it delicately to be worked out, honoring the pacing and the temperament and the delicacy of all moving through their own unique plans, and how to unify at any level, because there will always be something that can be unified. So if you might not match on 3 or 4, twin flames and soulmates and all of those words that we seek such promise to, but they're really not. Everybody is really your soulmate, and you're deciding whether to break and to move on from a soulmate. You can offer that on the same level of this exploration of bringing into greater fairness and rewriting it on the values, on the temperament of the pacing. Are you being nourished? Are you being offered in equal exchange? What parts of you are being nourished and what parts are absolutely not being nourished? And what values do you hold? And are you being held in? So these are really great ambassadorial potentiations that each and every person gets to play a part of, or not. It's always free will, but we always have equal measure of the councils of light to assist us in our human rewrite. And we're so excited to be a part of it. And we thank you so much, dear lighted ones. We're going to pull I've got some crown activations going on right now. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. And we know that there was a lot that we were just that we were offering there. So really go through it and dissect the videos and make notes, because each and every one of you will pull something out, and there will be codes and energies that will be downloaded in your fields, and you'll get to use whatever you want to use when you want to use it. It's always going to be available for you and to you and through you. And so they're saying the councils of light are coming in, and the galactic federations and the star councils. Thank you. Symphony of lights. Thank you. They're saying that we want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of your evolutionary process, and we're always here to help and to guide. So you just need to call upon us. Just place your attention and your intention at your heart, and you ask us questions for anything that you're moving through to be in alignment of the timeline that you're most excited to enjoy and to co-create with Spirit and all of the evolutionary councils and groups that are on the same evolutionary portal of the joy of being human and the beauty of being human, for all of your awakening and your oneness as God and as a one human family. And we thank you so much. Thank you, Councils of Light and the Galactic Federations. Is there any galactic being, I just sensed there's somebody that wants to come in and bring a message. Remember, they just wanted me to remind you all, when I come through with a message, there are multidimensional intentions and codes for those that so desire to seek that in these recordings. So if you come with the intention to have a message being delivered, just know that it will be delivered. So this is where, and I ask the collectives or the councils or any being that wants to come forward and speak through me, that they're doing so because someone in now or future now moments will be asking for it of the intention of their higher self to pull in an answer or an observation. Is there anybody that would like to come through? Syrian Collective, thank you. Yes, thank you. We are the Syrian Collective of Light. Yes, we are masters of light, and we look forward to working with many of you as you investigate and honor who you are as the keepers of light upon your planet and the keepers of your own intentions of fairness and equality, and setting new standards for your evolution and setting new standards for your treatment and behavior of one another in the most sacred of ways. For we honor you as sacred beings of light, and we're so very blessed to be on this journey with you. As you call upon us for sacred co-creation, we will always answer, and we will always be in party with you. And we will never ever leave your side in these explorational journeys and the adventures of who you are becoming as galactic beings in the one family of who we are. And we're honoring you in this journey and the sacredness of your co-creation in this, as all galactic and multidimensional beings serve the greater one. And we honor this in you. Thank you, divine Syrian beings of holy light. Thank you. Masters of reciprocation. Thank you. Yes, we are working with many of you as a master collective to assist you all in honoring these new infusions of how you will. Okay, so now they're showing me that they're showing me in this download that what we've just downloaded to you in these new rewrites, it's to rebalance many of the imbalanced systems of reciprocation that will be, right? Because there's been a lot of the oligarchy systems, of the egocentric systems, the abuse of power that has been going on, where many of the few received and many of the many did not receive. So there's masters and there's beings and there's consciousness that work on the councils of light and the evolutionary light programs to help infuse many councils and many channels and many conduits to understanding and offering greater wisdoms and intelligence within the councils of light and within the programs of light on what the fairness and the balance and reciprocation really is and how it adds to the balance of the whole. And so now they're showing me that in this offering today, the underlying foundation is to restore balance to the human collective that has been fairly and far grand in imbalance in adjudication and other social programs, where many have been left to fend for themselves in great poor conditions and great inequity and great imbalance. And so we are councils of masters that come to you and work with the councils of light and your guides, many of you that will be walking and stepping into the forefront to assist in the honoring of reciprocation and how the laws of balance and the laws of uniformity in your oneness of rewrite, in your oneness of evolution, can all be a part and all be a player of honoring the fairness of the give and take of energy that is energy, and honoring it. And so you will see systems of hoarding and systems of taking and systems of lack of integrity and controlling systems will be a time of the past. As you bring forward delicate reciprocation and delicate intuitiveness and releasing the enablement of dysfunction. And doing it in a respectful and honoring way. You can bring peace and gentleness to experiences that might seem really imbalanced and unfair, and you can bring gentleness to it. Many of us have gone through it and going through and releasing the pain and dealing with the wounds so that you can be in that state of centeredness and presence where you're bringing gentleness and not bringing the rage because you've been treated so unjust and unfair for so very long. Many of the collectives in your social arena and many of your tribes, many factions of your collective are completely missed out. Thank you, lots of clearing going on there. So that there are councils and beings that work specifically for reciprocation and bringing social systems up to an alignment of how they're also saying too, this is not our perspective of how you need to work things. They're making this very clear. And I've stated that these are how you in your collective of earth, because you are humans and you're a part of rebuilding your earth. It's your free will. It's your co-creative experiences and intelligences. We are here to offer and act as guides of the asking. And we are here to see that we have done infinite planets going through ascension and to align in higher resolve so that there is greater balance and fairness so that no one is left out. And we are offering these same providences to you, for you are going through a time of great growth and evolution. But this is your planet, and it's up for you to co-create it with spirit. And this is why the alignment of your oneness within will offer you your equal gifts and your equal talents to bring such to the table. And we are always here to offer that for you and with you in prudence and in gentleness of who you are as an evolving species. Thank you, dear lighted ones. Thank you, Spirit. We're so grateful. Thank you, dear lighted ones. Was there, I felt like that we cut short on that other statement back there. Was there anything else we needed to close on? No, we think we've captured it all. Thank you. And we wanted to be a part of this great co-creation. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. And so they're just signing it right now. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. And so the card that came forward today was, oh, that's great. Star Brothers. Yay, Star Brothers. And this is the Horus energy: protection, loyalty, safety, and trust. So that's again what the councils offer us. They always offer us the higher guidance, always offer us the alignment to our highest and best truth. They always offer us the alignment and remembrance, as our teams are always offering us the reciprocation of who we've been on other realms and our other galaxies and other roles, other things that we've played, other definitions and other beings that we've co-created with, and how to really take ownership of that and honor it, and then bless it forth for this new human rewrite, and how we're meant to bring our gifts and our talents forward and joyful beauty of who we are as an evolving collective. So we're really excited to bring that forward to you. And so we sign off today, dear lighted ones. Those of you that would like to offer a donation, always offering our Ascension experiences forward to you in the highest of care, in the highest of love and honor. Know that you are always bringing your gifts forward, your galactic gifts forward. Bring your honoring of who you are forward. Anything that we offer is from the councils of light for the collective in the highest and the best. And we ask that if you use any of our work, that you provide fair and free exchange of the information and credits, because it is equal exchange and fairness as we're rebalancing everything. And we are offering this in the highest and in the best for the greater good. Thank you, Spirit, and those that choose to work with us on a collective consulting experience, global webinars, teachings, vocations, in individual readings and intuitive readings and healing. We honor you so much, and our links are below for any donations that you'd like to send or connections that you'd like to co-create with. We love you so much, dear lighted ones. The links are below. And thank you for all of those that signed up for the special $33 reading. It's now closed off, and we might do another one later on in the year, the new year. So we're really excited about the new energies that are coming forward, and we thank all of the councils of light that have been working with us. There's just one last sentence that I didn't read here. Believe in the notion of the higher social resolve for so many of you, and that you each have a part to play. For much of your social structure is aching for your creative touch. And so just know that we each have a part to play, and our gifts are needed and wanted. So you have that longing to be a part of it, and that longing is wanting you. Remember, there's always that Vesica Pisces. If you have the longing, it will be met. And that's what Spirit's promised you, is it's providence, it's equal measure, and it's always the law of balance. If you have it to offer, there will always be there equal to offer it to you and to receive, and to also gift it to you. You're meant to receive. And so they want me to just say one more thing, because it goes back to me as well. This is an equal opportunity for learning and for growth. Most of my soul's experience here is to really honor, because I've been a very devoted light worker on many earth timelines and many earth realms and planetary galactic realms. In my passion is to give and to offer as much as I can, because I have so much wisdom and so much experience and intelligence that I've been working with over many, many eons. And I'm a master in being so and doing so. And I'm so honored in deep reverence of it. But part of the human collective right now, in many of the indigenous, many of the collectives that have been out of balance, the elders, children, divine feminine, Aboriginal, the sacred tribes that we've all carried and been a part of on other earth timelines, and we all have within our genetics and our DNA. We are a part of the galactic wholeness and the allness. So there is no one tribe, no one being, no one office that is above another. We are all equal, and we all deserve that fair share of reciprocity in balance of our intelligence, our leadership, our capabilities to be the teachers and the healers and the leaders of a new earth. And so in that, it is very important that each and every one of us, through our ascension process, is to really feel into reciprocity, is how to receive, how to feel into the divine feminine energy and rebalancing on what it is you need to receive, how you need to receive it, and really start being intimate and feeling into and asking of it and practicing it, how to receive in equal measure, how to ask for it in equal reverence, right? Everyone is at a different value system and moral system and truth system and perspective, right? But you have to be the boss of you and say, this is how I'm ready to receive. This is what I'd like to receive, and I'm worthy of it. And really standing in that vibrational power of it. Therefore, as each do, they're showing me and why we're saying this, as each of you honor and feel into it and start behaving in this honoring of receiving, we each set that vibrational tone to rebalance the entire collective, so that it's all being brought up into equal share and fairness of intelligence, wisdoms, and the gifts and skills that we've all carried to bring forward and share. And so that's so wonderful. Thank you, Spirit. This has been a whole packed system. So we're so grateful. Thank you, dear little ones. We love you so much. And our links are below. We love you, and share our videos, like and subscribe, whatever those things are. We love you so much.